New York City is a very big city and there are so many people out there, but it also is very small. And when you find your people, you find your goddamn people. It felt so big and vast to me, where I felt like I was never gonna make friends and find my people. But then time went on, life moves on, I put in effort and I found my people. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mahua. Oh my god, I am so excited about this video today about how to make friends in New York City or any big city in general. In your 20s, I feel like this is so relevant for like all age groups, all people that moved out recently, all people that are going to school and are feeling lonely, because I was on the same boat as you guys and I still am sometimes. You know, those lonely days creep up on you when you least expect it. Because I recently moved out, well that's not recent anymore I guess, around 2 years ago, moving out alone in New York City. Thankfully, I was born and raised in New York, but I didn't live in the city area. So it was a whole culture shock and it was a whole different experience for me to discover myself, move out, figure out how to live, get groceries, and just make friends in my early 20s when I first made that big move. And let me tell you, it is such a lonely period when you are trying to discover who you are as a person while also trying to shed some old friendships and trying to find new friends. And it feels like it's never gonna end, right? Because you're so lonely, you sometimes dig yourself into such a dark hole and you don't know if you're gonna get out of it, right? A lot of people get depressed, a lot of people get socially anxious, whatever it is, and it is not a good feeling to have, especially me who moved out during COVID and couldn't really interact physically with most people. It was not the best thing for me, okay? I did have to go outside and I did have to interact with people because I was doing my master's and I did student teaching and things like that. So I was forced to interact with people, but I wouldn't say that those were like my friends. You know, those were just people that I had to see. Some of you guys might be going to work and you have to do like real life adult responsibilities and you interact with people, but maybe those aren't really your friends, right? So how do you actually make friends in a big city? We're gonna talk about it, okay? We're gonna talk about the things that you can do to really put yourself out there and interact with people that are very like-minded, and also just tips on making friends in the city. I'm telling you, I put my best tips together. I really went hard researching for this video because I want you guys to feel actually supported, okay? Also, if you guys don't know, I put the same question on my Instagram story at 11th Ave if you guys haven't followed me yet, and you guys went off with your suggestions and places to go. So I'm gonna kind of be referring to my laptop and my own notes to really help you guys, because this is like a community effort, okay? I love when you guys pitch in with your own things, pitch in with your tips and advice, because we're all just trying to help one another. So before we get started, I just want to let you know that you feeling lonely or you feeling friendless or you feeling like you're never going to find your people, it is not permanent. It is completely temporary. It is completely normal, especially if you are in your 20s or your 30s, wherever you are. This is like the natural flow of life. You know, we have ebbs and flows. Sometimes we feel like our people aren't there for us and we'll never find them, but they are there, but it comes with hard work and it comes with self-discovery. So I hope this gives you some sort of motivation and some sort of hope. So make sure to like and subscribe because I post every single week and it really helps push this video into the algorithm. If you also want to find your people and let this video find the people that need it too, so we can all just be a growing community out here. But let's get started into this video where I talk about my favorite things to do and favorite places to go when I'm trying to make some new friendships, okay? If you see me looking over here, it's because that's where my laptop is, where my notes are. Also, I just bought myself my first laptop after almost 7 years of using an old one that kept crashing, that kept dying on me. So it feels like a brand new moment. I feel like a true adult with this purchase. So let's get into it. Something that really helped me make new friends and just discover myself and build routine was going to workout classes. Something that I love about workout classes is that sometimes you go to the same classes or the same workout activity every few days or every week, and it builds like this constant routine, right? And once you go in there and you have a good workout, you start also seeing the same people that are working there. You start seeing the regulars of the people that come in, and it starts building like this familiarity. And sometimes we think that these people are mean, right? Because you want to go get your workout in and then just leave. That's what we think. But usually the people at workout classes are so freaking nice and they are willing to just start up a conversation with you or just talk to you and keep that going, right? I've noticed that the people at Screamo concerts and the people at yoga classes or whatever workout classes are usually the people that drop everything for you and are the most supportive and like the most nicest people that you'll meet. Like I remember once at a yoga class, I thought I was gonna throw up. I had to leave the class because I was so hot and it was not a good time for me at all. And there were so many people after the class that congratulated me, that encouraged me to keep going, and they were so willing to just like start up a conversation with me, and it felt so like fulfilling. So those people are out there, especially if you are building this routine with your workout. I also recently discovered this Instagram page called City Girls Who Walk, and basically this is just a page where girls meet up to walk across the city, especially New York City, and they have like weekends and things like that just blocked off for these walks. And it's such a fun way to meet people, have community, just go by yourself and you start meeting all these girls that are going there for the same shared purpose of walking and exploring the city, right? I feel like when the weather gets a little bit better and there isn't frozen snow on the ground, that is something that I'd actually love doing just to get some fresh air and make friends outside of my bubble. The next way to make friends and meet new people, so underrated I feel like, but using dating apps that aren't really just meant for dating. I guess friend dating should be a thing, right? Just exploring new friendship, putting yourself out there, having a dating profile or a friendship profile that people can look at, that you can look at, and just finding your people that way. I feel like this is such a modern social media thing, but use it to your advantage, right? So there are apps like Bumble BFF, there are apps like Salams if you're Muslim, there are apps like Lex where you can find where you can find queer people, and also if you are identifying as that, you can also get on that app. So there are so many places where you can kind of just like speed date but for friends. And I remember I was on Bumble BFF for like a day and then I kind of got scared and anxious, so I deleted the app and I deleted my account. But if I had pushed myself during that time, I feel like it would have been such a beautiful thing for me. One of my best friends, she actually used that app to find her friends for a book club. So now she has this like book club with people that she just met online, which is such a cool thing to do. And I feel like since this is like an app and social media, you can look at a person, don't judge a book by its cover, but you can kind of see their personality and their interests and see if that would work with your personality interests or clash, and skip out on like the unsure phase. And I feel like this is also such a good option, especially if you are in your 20s and you're trying to find your people, because sometimes we outgrow like the bars and clubs type of friendships because we want to have something more sustaining, more fulfilling. And I feel like this allows you to get out of your comfort zone and try new things. Maybe try a new activity with a new friend, or try a new like dinner spot and things like that that actually bring you like substance, you know? And something else on the same bracket that I loved doing when I was trying to find new friends, and this doesn't just relate to me because maybe I do have more followers, this can work for everyone, so I don't want you to assume that this was easier for me and it won't work for you. I love just cold DMing people that I find cool or that inspire me. You know how sometimes we might have mutuals that we always see on our feed, we always comment on their stuff, they always comment on ours, but we never really talk, we never really like message each other. Or maybe we see someone on our explore feed or someone that our friends are mutuals with, and we just follow them because they seem cool, they seem like they're our type of vibe, and we keep it just strictly social media. That's fine, you can keep it on that level, but why not push yourself a little bit more and just cold DM them and just be like, yo, I think you're really cool, I think we would be really good friends, do you want to grab coffee or do you want to hang out sometime together? And I feel like we always think that, you know, similarly to screamo concerts or workout classes, we feel like people have this facade where they seem too cool, they seem too unapproachable, but most people are willing to hang out with you or have a conversation with you, and they're not as shitty as they might seem. And I feel like we have to normalize that more. So just cold DM people, because you don't even know how many people I became close with because of social media, and how many people have genuinely been in like the same business or bracket as me who have helped me with my growth in like confidence, but also like business and also like artistic endeavors and things like that as an artist. So it's such a beautiful thing. Like, use social media to your advantage and don't be so turned off where you want to meet people just traditionally and meet people authentically, which is obviously possible, but still use social media to your advantage. It doesn't have to be a crappy thing in your life. My next place to make friends and meet new people is booking a solo date, okay? I always preach about solo dates, you guys know. I love going on these solo adventures where I book like a ceramics class, I book like a art class, I go on a museum date, and things like that might be a little bit overwhelming to a person that just moved out or to a person that hasn't really spent time alone, but you get so much better at it as you do it more and more. But why I say this is because when you go on these solo adventures or these solo dates and you do something that brings you peace, that's something that interests you, you start meeting people that also are interested in those same things. And also, so many people think that meeting others costs a lot of money, especially in New York City, right? You feel like you have to spend so much money to do things out here, which is true to an extent, right? Sometimes you feel like you have to spend $500 right when you step out of the house to buy a single cup of coffee. That's how I feel sometimes, and I friggin' was born and raised here. I get it, right? But a lot of things are free, and there are so many resources out there on social media that are free, where you can find these events, where you can find these solo date activities, and you don't have to like spend so much money, okay? I always talk about this experience, but I booked a ceramics class a few years ago, and it was kind of anxiety inducing because I went there by myself and I thought everyone would be partnered up and they'd have their own people that they would be talking to, but that was not the case at all. A lot of people came by themselves. It was more of like an intimate class, and I made a friend from that class. So a really cool solo date activity that you can do that's kind of like a third space in New York. I don't know if you guys know about this, but third spaces in big cities, especially like New York City, are like non-existent. And if you guys don't know what a third space is, it's basically like a space where you can kind of just hang out instead of doing crimes and doing drugs. It's basically to keep people off the street. Like for example, a local library is a third space, right? You can do your work there for free. You can get free books that you can rent out, just have free Wi-Fi and exist there without having to think too much about it. Whereas there are a lot of coffee shops that you have to pay money for and they kick you out after a certain time. Or a lot of local libraries are closing because third spaces aren't as popular or relevant in New York City anymore. So it's like, what do you do when you're a student and you have to do work, but it's a Sunday and the library is closed? Like, where do you go if your house is not a safe space, right? I'm so passionate about this, as you can tell. But third spaces are like not as popular in New York anymore, right? But we need to bring them back because we need places to chill. We need places to just exist freely. So I found this one Instagram page that I actually saw a TikTok about called New York City Drawing Room. It's a place where you can just exist and make arts and crafts for free and just talk to your people. You can go by yourself and come out with so many friends that also love that same experience as you. Another place is Happy Medium, where you can also make arts and crafts. I actually went there with a friend, and it's just such a nice community experience. You're supporting a local business in Chinatown. There's another Instagram page I found called Arts Club NYC, and this place hosts like paint night where you can also go by yourself and just come back with a little souvenir, a little arts and craft that you made. You can actually have room to talk and learn and paint. I love interactive activities like this. As you can tell, I'm a huge arts and crafts girly as an artist myself, but you don't even have to be an artist. All right, the next thing that is so crucial, joining a club, okay? When you are in New York, it's important to find, or any big city, it's important to find community. It's important to find some sort of routine, okay? Similar to a workout class, it puts you into that routine, it gets you out of the house. But joining a dance club or joining a book club, it just makes you feel like you're part of the community, and you don't have to be making friends right away, but it makes you feel like you have purpose in an odd way, right? It's the same thing as like doing a volunteering position, joining a soup kitchen, or things like that. It makes you feel like you have a purpose and there's things out there that are greater than you, and also you're learning something, right? Like I was looking at my Instagram replies and someone said that they joined a bachata salsa club and they met so many great friends that also have that shared interest. And I feel like as adults sometimes we get so scared and anxious to do something new because we feel like our time has passed and that a lot of people were there for years, so there's no point in us going. But this is an era for us to try new things and just do the things that we want to do and not get scared of it, because there's no such thing as, oh, we're too old for this, oh, they're gonna think we're silly, oh, they're gonna think I'm cringe, or there are so many people out there who have already started this years before, so they're more talented and more experienced. We're not doubting ourselves anymore. If we want to do something, we have to do it, because we are going to regret this years later, where we keep telling ourselves, what if we did this, right? So just do it. What if you do this and it's the best time of your life? No point in just thinking of the negatives, okay? We're gonna just put ourselves out there and do the thing that we freaking want to goddamn do, okay? There's actually a place by me that offers free salsa and bachata classes, and I really want to do it. I haven't had the time to do it yet, but it is such a great experience. I already know because I see so many beautiful older women, Latina women, dancing away from like the outside, and that's like my dream. That's my inspo, okay? They are on my Pinterest board because I love that they just put themselves out there. My next one is go to pop-ups or gallery openings. Something that I didn't really realize is that a lot of gallery openings publicize when they're gonna have that gallery opening, and it's like a fun community experience where you can get like a glass of wine, You can be a little pretentious art nerd and walk around with your little glass judging the art, but it's like a fun little thing. It's still a cute little place to meet new people or bring old friends. Some Instagram pages that I love is Thirsty Gallerina, where they have the weekly gallery openings that you can attend for free for the most part. Another one that has different events going on in New York City that are kind of underground is at secret_NYC. Another beautiful one is Meetups NYC. A lot of NYC ones, like especially for any city, there are going to be community Instagram pages or events just for your city. Don't feel like this resource is just for people like me or people in the New York City area. I don't know if like the small town areas might have it in like Utah or, you know, Idaho, but you can still look, you know. There's also a place called Book Club in East Village, and it is such, oh my god, I love this store so much. It's an independent bookstore. They have different events every single week. So they have paint and sip, they have book clubs every few weeks, and it's another third space. There's also a coffee shop called Black Cat in Lower East Side where they host comedy nights and things like that, where you're basically laughing with people and laughing at people, and it makes you feel a lot less lonely, you know. They also have vintage board games there, so that's a lot of fun. So you can kind of strike up a conversation or force someone to play with you if they're willing to. And I feel like board games are such a good like conversation starter, because if someone needs a fourth player or someone needs a second player for their game, you can just join in on their table, and it makes it less overwhelming, less intimidating. You don't have to talk about personal stuff or your life right away. You can just like enjoy the game, and then you can kind of slowly get into it, you know. Oh my god. Okay, so the next thing I cannot gatekeep, I actually just found out about it, and it's so freaking cool in my opinion. So there's a website called meetup.com, right? And you can put in the location that you're at or the location that you're visiting. So I put in New York, and it shows a bunch of events or pop-ups and things like that that you can join in on and just basically reserve your ticket. A lot of them are free. So I'm like scrolling through it right now, and they have International Friends New York, where you can just join an event and just meet new people that are international. There's an event for introverts in New York City, online meet and greet. So this isn't even like in person. If you're an introvert and you want to just stay at home and not be as overwhelmed, you can literally meet someone just virtually, and there's already 40 attendees. Another one that I loved so much was a Chelsea gallery hop for just women. So this is something that I'd personally join if I had the time to do it, but it's essentially just women joining in on a gallery hopping session in Chelsea. If you guys don't know, that's in New York City. That's just meeting people that are like-minded in the artistic realm, completely safe because it's women, hopefully safe. There's already 87 attendees, and this is so much fun. This is so up my alley. Like, I'm genuinely getting excited about this because I would go. An inner goddess check-in. What does self-love mean to you? I love that. What an event. Oh my god. So like, as you can see, there are so many different niches. There are so many different things to do in New York. You just gotta find your people, and I love that website. I'm gonna actually be using it because it seems so much like me. There are also a lot of Facebook groups that you can join where you can find your people. So don't be scared. You can obviously follow those Instagram pages or go on these websites or join those Facebook groups or whatever it is, because your people are out there for you, okay? And then my last place to make friends if you are traveling in New York and you don't live here are just hostels. If you are planning on staying somewhere, hostels are obviously a lot more affordable, and a lot of hostels have community events where you can meet other people that are just like you and that are traveling just like you. I stayed in a hostel in Amsterdam when I solo traveled, and I had my own room, so it was a lot safer for me, and I felt like I had more privacy. So you can choose a solo room, or obviously you can choose to bed with other people. And they had these events where there was like a paint night, there was a karaoke night, and things like that, where you were meeting other people in the same lane as you. And they have the same thing in New York City hostels. So find ones that are safe, find ones that have events that you would like to join, and I'm telling you, you're gonna find lifelong friends in a different city or a different country, because I have now friends from Europe that I have on Instagram that I met from the hostels that will make your trip like so much more livelier, you know? So I definitely recommend that if you are trying to make friends when you are solo traveling or traveling in general in a foreign city. All right, now let's talk about the tips that I have. Just some loose thoughts, loose tips for anyone that might be feeling lonely, or for anyone that is trying to make new friends but is unsure on how to do it. Take it with a grain of salt, okay? These are just tips that I wish I knew and that I want you to know. Spend time alone instead of trying to make friends right away, so you can self-discover yourself. That doesn't make sense. So you can discover yourself and also know what you want in friendships and relationships in general, so you can know what interests to look for, what kind of personality to look for, because there are a lot of people that don't really know who they are as a person, and they try to hop into a new relationship or a new friendship and they latch onto them, right, without really knowing who they are as a person. So then at the end of the day, they get disrespected more, they get walked on all over more, because they don't have a grasp on themselves. So it is uncomfortable to spend time alone. It is very uncomfortable to learn about yourself and have the self-discovery, going to therapy and just having these hard truths. But it's very important to just know who you are and then know what you want in a friendship. Number 2, say yes to more things to get you out of your comfort zone. Okay, obviously with safety, like don't say yes to every single thing if you feel like you're in danger, obviously. When you are trying to make friends, it's important to really push yourself and just say yes to more like spontaneous things, and that way you start getting to know that friend more and maybe even getting introduced to more friends, and also maybe getting introduced to more interests that you didn't know you were interested in. And that can mean like going to a concert last minute, or I don't know what else, but you get what I'm saying. Just say yes to more things, because sometimes we get so like in our own heads and we're so stuck to our routine. The next one is, if you tell yourself that you're going to be alone forever and you're going to never make any friends, then you are going to be forever stuck in that mindset. Be open to new friendships, take off your headphones and just smile more. Just be accepting of the fact that you will make friends, that you have to put yourself out there and be willing to make friends, you know? Sometimes we have to trick our brains into feeling like we are capable of healthy friendships, because when you get so stuck in your own ways, oh my god, the ambulance. Because sometimes when we get stuck in our own ways and we tell ourselves that we're never gonna do something, it becomes real, you know? So you have to really talk to everyone and talk to your local regular coffee shop baristas. Or if you have like a local bar that you go to every Friday or Saturday night, you know, just be open to talking and learning about other people. Maybe you're not gonna be friends with them right away or friends with them at all, but at least you're learning more about yourself. You're opening yourself up to new people and interactions, and you're just like more open. I feel like I'm very in my own thoughts sometimes, and I have my headphones in and I have my resting bitch face, which is normal. I feel like sometimes I can't control that, but when I am trying to make new friends and new memories and things like that, sometimes I'll take off my headphones and I'll just be noticing more things and just smiling more and talking to more people. So it's really like a mindset shift. The next one is, don't put so much pressure on making friends, because then you'll get disappointed and you won't be enjoying the present moment. Because sometimes I feel like when I get in that mindset that I have to make friends today, and then I get too much in my own head, it doesn't happen. I don't make those friends, and then I get disappointed and I feel like the whole day was a waste, right? It can also be when you're trying to get into a relationship. Sometimes you go to a bar and you're like, yes, I'm gonna find my dream man and I'm gonna leave being in love. And then it doesn't happen, because sometimes we feel like our 20s are so fleeting and we're like, oh my god, time is running out. I have to have all the best friends, have the best partner, have to have my life figured out. And then when it doesn't happen when we want it to happen, it feels like you're a failure. And I get it. But when you put that much pressure on yourself, it takes the fun out of it, and you're not really making those memories and friendships that you want, because you're putting too much thought into it. You just have to be authentic and you have to live in the moment. My next tip is, don't rush it, okay? It might be better to just observe someone that is a regular at your workout class or whatever it is, and just talk to them maybe after a few weeks of noticing them and them noticing you, instead of you trying to go in right away and have a conversation. Obviously sometimes that works. Sometimes you get so excited where you kind of push them away. So just don't rush into making friends. Maybe just talk to your local baristas and things like that and ease into it. You're not gonna make your lifelong best friends right away. It takes a lot of hours and a lot of hanging out to make those friends and make those connections. So give yourself some grace. Like, New York City is a very big city and there are so many people out there, but it also is very small. And when you find your people, you find your goddamn people. Like, it felt so big and vast to me, where I felt like I was never gonna make friends and find my people. But then time went on, life moves on, I put in effort and I found my people. And it's such a beautiful, fulfilling thing when that does happen to you. So don't rush it and enjoy the moment, okay? All All right, my last tip for now is take initiative and follow up with your friends. Because my thing is, if you're not following up because you're expecting them to follow up, but they're also expecting you to follow up, this is not going anywhere, right? I was always the type of person before in the past, oh my god, I'm not gonna text first, I'm not gonna call first because they should be the one to do it. But why should they be the one to do it? If you miss them, tell them that you miss them. If you want to hang out with them, tell them that you want to hang out with them, you know? We can't always expect other people to put in the work. We can't always expect other people to care when we're also not really caring. So in the beginning of a new friendship, you have to sometimes be the one to reach out. Obviously, it has to be reciprocated and they have to also do the same thing sometimes. Can't always be you, but sometimes you have to put in the energy and effort to make that friendship blossom. And then obviously it gets a lot easier where you don't have to think about it as much. But in the beginning, you kind of do, and that's fine. No shame in following up. Normalize following up with friends. Alright, so that is the end to this video. Please let me know if these tips were helpful. If you are excited about making friends in a big city now. Obviously, as always, make sure to comment down below your favorite place to make friends or your favorite tip to make friends, because again, this is like a community and we are all trying to help one another. I love reading your guys' comments because you genuinely give me such good advice and places to go. So I'm always reading it and taking notes as well. If you guys did find this helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe, it helps so friggin' much. Please click the bell as well to be in the loop when I post videos and post updates and things like that. Make sure to also follow me on my Instagram and TikTok where I literally post multiple times a day. Maybe you'll get tired of me, maybe you will not, but yet I'm still gonna persevere and continue and give you the content that you need and just put my thoughts out there as always. Make sure to listen to our podcast called Difficult-ish, where we post every single week, and we're on YouTube, all streaming platforms, so you can listen and watch now. I also have solo episodes on there sometimes, so I'm gonna have a whole episode on female friendship sometime soon. So if you want like a more in-depth episode on just me talking about how to maintain female friendships and find your female friends, make sure to follow that and wait for that episode to come out. Also, I have a shop where I sell my own art and apparel. It's labyrinthav.com. The spring/summer collection is coming very soon and I'm very excited for you guys to see it. That is the end to this video. I love you guys very much and I'll see you guys next week.